Hey, it's your boy Rashad with another video for y'all. If y'all enjoy NBA content, drop a like, subscribe. We're gonna keep it simple today. And like always, I'm thankful for every subscriber that I have and every single one of you supporting me. Thank you. I can't thank y'all enough. But let's hop into this video. Today we're gonna be talking about Victor Oladipo. And I know a lot of y'all know Victor Oladipo from his 47 points last night, or how he's just been playing this whole entire season, which I'm gonna get into. But like always, I like to go in the past and see somewhere where some of these players started and see how they improved. And for that video, for him to be the most improved player, that's what we're going to have to do. So if we talk about from his Orlando days back in 2014, when he was just starting out, Victor Oladipo, don't get me wrong, he's a pretty solid player. Even when he came into the league, he was a pretty solid player. But like always, young players have their problems. The problem when he was in Orlando is that he wasn't getting any better as the years went on. He pretty much stayed the same type of player. And that's ultimately why Orlando traded him, because they realized that, okay, he's not going to really get any better. In their eyes, they thought that. And that's what a lot of teams do, believe it or not. When they have a young player with a young team and they realize that the young player isn't leading their team to the success they want, they're often going to trade and still rebuild. That's kind of what they did with Michael Carter-Williams in Philadelphia. They said, okay, he's a good point guard, but he is not the point guard for our future. And look how that worked out. They ended up getting Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Markelle Fultz, and Dario Saric in the draft. But, however, not every GM is the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers. Just saying, trust the process. But like I said, when it comes to Victor Oladipo back in Orlando, he had three main problems. He was inconsistent, wasn't getting any better, and he just couldn't finish with the contact consistently. Now, when it comes to inconsistent, it means like some games he would go for like 20 or, have those 20-point games, and out of nowhere, he would just play horrible. And that kind of led into OKC, which I'm going to get into. But in those young days of his career, which he was a young player, so you got to remember, you can't go that hard on him. But still, those were his three main factors, and that's kind of why Orlando ended up trading him to OKC, where he ended up playing with Russell Westbrook. Second point. Now, you can say whatever you want, Russell Westbrook. Stat pattern, ball hog, triple-double, everything you want to say. You can say it all. But like I said, this is about Victor Oladipo. Now, Victor Oladipo on OKC, he wasn't that bad in terms of how he played, but until he got to the playoffs, that is a whole nother thing. However, though, when he was playing with Russ, his points per game did go down. But that's a given, because you got to understand, if you're playing with a guy who demands the ball that much and has a usage rate of that much, that's a given. Your points per game are going to go down. And knowing how Russ plays, that's a given. But however, what is not a given is that your efficiency shouldn't go down. Your efficiency is you as a player. You can still play with the ball hog, but if you're going to shoot just as bad as the ball hog, that doesn't really show as well good in your game. However, you're playing with the ball hog and you're still shooting efficient, then you can make the case that, you're actually a good scorer and you don't want to play this guy anymore because he's just not giving the ball in the right situations. And that could be the case as well, because if y'all watched a lot of OKC games, and it's not even the stats, Victor Oladipo would get the ball really, really late in the shot clock, and you oftentimes not have to throw up a really bad shot. So that could influence his stats as well. However, though, if we lead into the playoffs, when he was at OKC, when he was mostly with the second unit, so this is not when he was at Russ mostly, and he had to fall under Russ's shadow. He had the time when Russ was on the bench, barely, to lead the second unit, and he couldn't do that. And that was the main reason why Russ had to play so many minutes, because even parts in the season, Victor Oladipo just couldn't seem to lead the second unit. And that was very alarming, because he was supposed to be the second option before Steven Adams was actually discovered. In terms of his actual play, how he's playing good. Now, I'm not saying discovered as a player, but in terms of his skill set. But, like I said, if you're the second option, you cannot be playing like that. You can't be averaging 10.8 points, 34% shooting from the field, and 24% from the three-ball in the playoffs. You can't be doing that. There's no excuse to that. And a lot of his shots in the Houston Rockets series were wide open shots. I remember watching that series and just ripping my hair out, because I literally saw Russ do everything. Stat pad or not, Russ was doing everything. And that's what the point when people started to make the argument saying Russ is tired, he had no help. And that was true because Victor Oladipo was nowhere to be found. But Victor Oladipo ended up getting traded. And this is where the real video begins. Victor Oladipo is playing basketball out of his mind right now. He has a career best in almost every statistical category there is right now. I'm talking about points. I'm talking about field goal, 3-point field goal percentage, rebounds, steals, blocks, you name it. He is just playing out of his mind. And I want to congratulate him to that because I didn't think that Oladipo and Sabonis going to the Pacers, that wasn't going to do anything. I had the Pacers not even making the playoffs, to be honest, in my opinion, in my prediction video. But was I wrong? Because right now they're the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. Should be the 4th, but they have one loss. One loss more than the Bucks, but they have also one more win than the Bucks. But that's whatever. However, though, he's leading a team to a pretty solid record in the Eastern Conference. And he just ended up having 2 clutch games, one against Denver, which he had 47 points, and the game against the Cavs, where he had a clutch shot on that crossover against Kevin Love. The guy's playing pretty nice. He's playing really good. And I just wanted to highlight that because as a fan of the OKC Thunder last year, to see a player like that just not play at all, just play terrible, to go on his own team and just sit there and lead a team, that is just crazy. And I know a lot of people are saying it's mostly Westbrook's fault. That is not the case. If you go watch Victor Oladipo back in Orlando, he was the same way. He was never that type of player. A lot of people confuse him to say he was supposed to be a really, really great player, a really, really good player to Russell Westbrook. That was never really the case. Because you gotta understand, he never averaged more than 20 points until this season now. He's averaging 24 points on a career high field goal percentage. It's pretty insane. And another thing I want to notice too is that he's actually hitting his threes this year. He's shooting the 3 ball at a 44% clip right now, which is very mind-boggling. And I just feel like Victor Oladipo has so much more to prove, and I just can't wait for him to prove it. He's playing amazing basketball right now. You got to give it up to him, and he is a great player. And I feel like if the season ended today, and there was a player I'm going to give the most improved player award to, it's definitely going to be Victor Oladipo. I'm sorry, but he is just playing very nice, especially with the young team that he has. He's playing with Miles Turner, Corey Joseph, and all sorts of other guys like that. They're a very good team, and especially Lance Stevenson. Don't get me wrong. Lance Stevenson's a pretty nice player too. Don't sleep on Lance. But I also want to notice that when it comes to young players, having a young player on his team by himself leading that team, I feel like that is the best way to improve young players. For example, if you look at the second, D'Angelo Russell went to the Nets, he just started playing so much better. I feel like when you give rookies their own team and you say, do you. I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to instantly win games. Not every single rookie is LeBron James, but they can do a lot. And I feel like that is the best way to grow some of these rookies. Either have them on a team with other young players for them to grow, or have a guy like Jordan Bell who's learning off of Draymond Green and the Warriors style of winning, and we can see that already. And you have other guys like Donovan Mitchell who are just playing out of their mind, Ben Simmons. Honestly, the rookies this year are just amazing. And yes, I know obviously Victor Oladipo's not a rookie, but he's still a young player. And he's still a very great young player, and I'm still very happy to see what's going to come from him. And if y'all excited, then drop a like, because I'm going to keep making more videos. Maybe some more about Victor Oladipo. Maybe he dropped 55 points. You never know. He dropped 47. Man, that's very disgusting. 47 points. Come on now. But damn, I'd give it to Victor Oladipo. He's my most improved player. And there you guys have it. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. And I'm out of this one.